Joining us now on Locked on Auburn, it's Lindsey Crosby, Auburn baseball expert, and we now have some more information as the field is set for a little postseason baseball. Of course, Auburn's hosting a regional. We learned that over the weekend. But now, as a national seed, they are hosting a situation where I feel pretty good about it. Hosting Penn, hosting Samford, hosting Southern Miss. You told me to pump the brakes a little bit. What teams specifically or teams specifically are you saying, hey, okay, this is a team to watch here?
So I think this sounds not how I intended. I'm not too worried about Samford.
Okay.
Nothing against Samford. They're the 3 seed. So Penn is one of those schools that it's an Ivy. They played South Carolina very close to open the season. They won a series against Texas A&M last year. They won their series this year against Tulane, who's in the conference. They have a very talented roster, especially with the pitching. But Southern Miss is kind of a tough draw, and thankfully, you're not going to get them in game one. Southern Miss went 41-17 this year. They won the Sun Belt. It's their first time playing in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, and they've got that emotional lift of our coach, Scott Berry, is stepping down after the season. He's retiring after a long career. And so, we have to win for Scott. And so it's not the worst draw. Trust me, there are much worse draws in this whole thing. Shout out to some teams like, I don't know, Alabama maybe?
Yeah. It's definitely the best draw in the state. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the best draw in the state.
Right.
You're not a 16 seed Alabama, but you don't overlook this and start automatically thinking, okay, what are we doing for supers? You do have to handle your business this weekend. Now, Auburn has shown that they can do that, but just don't look past this matchup. You'll have Penn on Friday night, and then if you win, you play on Saturday night, and if you win again, you play on Sunday afternoon. So it's a good draw. It's not a great draw, but it's a good draw. And again, it could have been a lot worse. And you are paired with the number 4 national seed in Clemson. Right. So that is Clemson. They are hosting Charlotte, Lipscomb, who you have played, and Tennessee.
There we go.
A lot of the statistical predictions actually, despite Clemson being one of the hottest teams in the country, Tigers so hot right now, a lot of predictions have Tennessee winning that regional. And if that happens and Auburn wins their regional, Plainsman Park would host a super regional. So
which would be incredible.
Which would be amazing. That would be fantastic. That would sell out faster than regionals did today, which was like 17 minutes.
Yeah, which seems a little long, if I'm being honest with you.
It probably was faster. By the time I finally got in and looked, I'm like, okay, it's sold out. It's been 17 minutes since the tweet went up. It's been at least 17 minutes.
Got it. Yeah, so tell me, all right, so obviously strategy with a regional is a little bit different than a super regional. Super regionals it's just a series, right? It's like a normal weekend series. Regional plays a little bit different because you have the option to play more games in theory, but it's just it's a bunch of double elimination tournaments. And so the important thing is winning the first 2 games. You go 2-0, and somebody will in every regional. Like, the odds of you coming out of that regional are very, very high. So walk us through, in your mind, Auburn will play Penn. We know that they'll play Penn Friday night, 6 p.m. Central Time. And then if they beat Penn, they'll play the winner of the other game. So Auburn, in a perfect world, plays Penn and then probably Samford. Probably not going to happen that way, but that's kind of what you want to happen if you're Auburn. Pitching's been a big thing, right? Like, does Auburn have 2 arms that you feel comfortable with kind of getting those first 2 wins? Is a long way of me kind of beating around the bush and asking that question.
Yeah. And I think the way that it works is part of this depends on the health of Christian Herberholtz, right? He was one of those guys that stepped up in conference play along with Tommy Vail, along with Chase Alsop. And so you've got Tommy Vail as your guy. If it's me, and this is just spur of the moment. We just got this draw a few minutes ago. We're trying to figure this out. I don't necessarily think I'm throwing Tommy Vail in game 1 against Penn. I'm saving Tommy Vail because I'm likely, statistically, to face Southern Miss in game 2. And Southern Miss has a very good offense. Penn's strength is their pitching. Southern Miss has a very good offense. And so what I'm doing is I'm throwing either Herbert Holtz or Alsop in game 1. I'm throwing Vail in game 2, assuming obviously that I win game 1. And again, you're what's most likely your path here, assuming Auburn wins their games, is after Penn on Friday, you probably play Southern Miss on Saturday. And if you win that, then you're playing the winner of Southern Miss and whoever between Samford and Penn wins, which I think probably would be Penn.
So you're high on Penn. I've always been a pencil guy, but you like Penn.
High on Penn. Penn. Blue fine points.
Sure.
Yeah, and so if Auburn wins their first 2 games, like you said, very, very likely to advance out of the regional. That's just the way it works. But if everything breaks the way that I'm expecting, you're playing the winner of Southern Miss and Penn from Sunday morning on Sunday afternoon. And if you win that, the regional is over. If that other team wins, you have a 4th game on Monday. Mm-hmm. I believe you have the starters between Alsop, Vail, and Herbert Holtz, assuming he's available, which I think he will be.
Okay. You
have the starters to make it through a weekend like that, unless you have to go to that 4th game. And then that's the question of, well, who do we use now? Who are we able to save somebody for game 4?
When you look at Auburn, the biggest advantage in this regional isn't Plainsman Park, in my opinion. It's Butch Thompson. I mean, all this guy does seemingly is win regionals. Doesn't matter where they are. He just has a knack for winning regionals. And pitching is such a big part of that, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a pitching guy, and he's so good at getting his staffs to peak at the right time, which certainly seems like that's what's happening. Does he win another one, Lindsay? Can Butch Thompson win another regional in his time at Auburn?
At the risk of jinxing it, my very early prediction is yes. Not only can he win another regional at Auburn, but it would be this one.
Yeah.
This is a winnable regional. This is not a nightmare draw. Shout out to some schools who just have an absolute disaster of a draw.
Maybe other ones in the state even.
Yeah. Maybe somebody like an Alabama who has to have a Boston College and an angry Troy team in their house. And then if they win, they get paired with number 1 overall Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. That's awful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is a winnable regional.
Would you bet on Alabama in the regional?
Ooh, too soon.
Sorry.
That's a good question. I wonder if that's going to be on the board or not. I'm guessing probably not.
I don't know. I feel like they flushed a lot of that situation. Yeah, so who knows?
They've already kind of fixed that.
I killed your train of thought on that.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're predicting Auburn to come out of this regional.
I'm predicting Auburn early to come out of this regional. And then if they go to Clemson, I'm predicting that to go to 3 games. I don't know if that would be who would win in 3, which Tigers team would win in 3, but I am predicting that would go to 3 games.
Sure.
Do want to point out that Plainsman Park, things work differently in regionals. Auburn is at home, but they don't get to treat it like it's their home park. The NCAA controls everything. They controls when you can access the field, even the week leading up before the rest of the teams get there. They control which clubhouse you use or locker room, who's home and who's away and things like that. But the one thing that can change the game about Plainsman Park is the crowd. It's obviously already sold out. You'll have viewing, standing room only, viewing room, first come, first serve in Operation Atmosphere, the deck, things like that. That is something that can legitimately change and impact a game. And so if you are a fan of Auburn baseball, if you're not able to buy third-party tickets, still consider coming out, being there around the park, making the noise. Butch Thompson has talked before to us in the media about the effect the fans have on the team, how it makes the team better, it makes opposing teams worse. And Auburn is going to need that this weekend.
Yep, there's no doubt about it. Lindsey Crosby covering this team better than anyone. Lindsey, where can they find all of that content and information?
I'm on Twitter at Crosby Baseball, and all of the Auburn baseball writing, auburndaily.com.
We will see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.